Testing.
Welcome everyone to the.
You couldn't. You just couldn't. You absolutely couldn't. Like you had to do some dumb shit.
Yes, of course. 3, 2, 1. Welcome everyone to the Break Knyte podcast, where we talk about being creative and drop stuff off the table because we are so creative.
So creative.
I am your host, Craven Knight, rumbler from the Bronx, professional wrestler and maker extraordinaire of so many different types of things, whether it's foam, spandex, or plastics. And with me, as usual, is the artist, the man, the dude. Tell these people who you are.
I am Sean Martin Iredale. That's right. And what I do, I draw things. I talk shit. I cook stuff. And sometimes I'll paint some toys. Sometimes I'll eat white cheddar Cheeto Puffs. Every now and then I'll buy a box of cereal, preferably the Reese's Puff cereal, because that shit is flames. But aside from that, I'm also here as a co-host to the BKP, the Break Knyte podcast. We are here in the daytime to hopefully break into the nighttime, talking about all the same shit that you tune in to hear, which is never consistent.
No, it's all over the place.
You are ready to hear it. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
So we've been up to some stuff lately. You know, we've seen some things. We've heard some shit. We've played with some stuff. And we banged your girl. I'm just kidding. Sorry, guys. I mean, we banged your dude. I'm also just kidding. We're gender fluid. Anyway.
Welcome.
Everyone welcome. So, I'd like to kick this some bitch off with our typical in talking about what we've done lately in the creative realm and what we like to do in the creative realm and what we've had fun and what we absolutely hate doing in the creative realm. So, to kick things off, let's go to the spicy chicken McNugget. Craven, what you got going?
Not a fan of the spicy ones, but I will take me a chicken nugget any time of the day.
Yeah, but because your head looks like a chicken nugget.
Fuck, it probably does.
Yeah, we know what you are for Halloween.
Shit.
Moving on.
The Alex jacket that I made for you, using some real brown leather and some
brown leather.
Yeah, some fleece materials, especially for a scale that small, or I guess that size anyway. Mm-hmm. It's easier because some fabric stores sell little Ziploc bags with scraps.
Do they?
Yeah, because sometimes it tend to be samples, or it tend to be whatever is left off.
Of something. That
they usually don't cut. They don't cut them down to size or anything. Maybe they'll give a sample, but they don't ever really cut them, and they sell them for pretty high mark sometimes. But it's really not that bad when you can get a Ziploc bag, as long as you can rifle through it and find a proper size that will work for the patterns. And I was able to make a pretty decent jacket. It was my Mark II Alex jacket, because my first one I didn't really dig. I tried using the.
That material.
I tried to use the one that you gave me, which was just the rag cloth, the carbon, well, not carbon fiber, but whatever. It was just very
messy.
It was messy, it was just all over the place. Because if you try to trim it, it would just go.
It would just shoot everywhere.
Yeah, it would just go back to its bare base of it, where it's it wasn't flattering looking. But then I messed around using the fleece material, white fleece, for the. It's a bomber jacket, for people who don't know. So it's a bomber jacket, so it has the fluffy collars and the edgings and all that stuff with the leather. And that was fun with the fleece, because the fleece was just nice and soft. And it just looked right, especially at that scale, looked perfect. And just messing around doing the collar and all that stuff and doing it. And stitching that scale, I'm still trying to figure it all out. It's not something I really want to make a big business, even though if I did, I do pretty well. But
you would.
But it definitely would take some practice, maybe a better machine. But no, it came out great. You did get a saw on your Alex, because you have two of them.
Hell yeah. I got a real shirt and a real jacket.
Oh yeah, I made the shirt too. I don't think I ever actually talked about the shirt.
Both of them are mad cozy. So you did the gimmick flannel shirt on my first Storm Collectibles Alex,
The flannel shirt, considering what the scale of it took forever just because of the flannel.
Yeah.
I probably could have done it.
Whoops!
I probably could have put some lines in there to make it so it's like it wasn't as time consuming, because it was literally me just removing squares just so I could create a sheet of flannel so I can make the shirt.
So you can just make the...
So it was like an hour of me removing squares.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
but I'm not.
My dedication to my craft. Just to do a solid for the two Alexes.
It's important. They're centerpieces in my home of homes.
Yeah. But other than that, wrestling gear wise, I did a butcher recently, and I didn't realize what a butcher actually was until probably a few years into doing wrestling gear.
Is that on your? Is that on the Facebook?
It should be on the Break Knyte Facebook and Instagram.
All right, go ahead.
It's the most recent one. Black, mostly black with some dog paws that are white and pink, and a dog crossbones type thing. But yeah, and usually, I've done butchers before, but like this one I kind of felt really confident with. I felt like I got my practice in, was able to use proper measurements, and it just came out really good. So Pete Dunne, come at me. And,
got him!
Yeah, because I know he synced it. But yeah, it came out really good, and I'm just hoping it fits the guy pretty well. But yeah, check that out on the Break Knyte Creative Instagram page.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that like templates will get you a long way. Be nice, have templates, and we'll work together really well.
Yeah, you'll do just fine.
Because like it's easy to make gear exactly how that template is, especially if you have the individual files for the individual logos and all that stuff. And it was able to make it exactly like the image, and it's like it surprises me sometimes. So it's pretty fun. And in Halloween themed wrestling gear, I made trunks for myself just on a whim, just because like I kind of want to make some Halloween themed gear for myself. I have one show left in October, so why not? And I made it pretty neutral to where I can kind of wear it anytime I want, but it's purple base with lime green and orange colors all over it. With I like doing random borders on the side. That's why they are the way they are. And I like my little shield with CK logo in the front. I just kind of like that combo, and it just looks really good.
I think it looks sweet.
Yeah, and then the interesting thing I did, because I didn't think I had lime green vinyl, so I had to use my lycra materials to kind of use those colors, but I missed a box of vinyl that I had laying around. But I had to I wanted to do a half and half for the knight on the back, and what I had to do was pretty much take the green and the orange and stitch it and make a seam for it down the middle, so I can create that half and half look instead of just kind of like going any other way and fucking it up. But it came out really good, and I was really happy with it, and it fits perfectly because I'm always reworking my patterns and trying to get it to where they don't ride up. And I realized the key to it is just make the leg holes small, because it's designed to stretch. I always thought there was other things to it, but making those leg holes really small, because they're designed to stretch anyway, it's going to fit nice and snug, and it's not going to ride up your ass and it'll look right. Because Johnny Gargano, you look at his trunks and you see that they're not going anywhere. Same thing with fucking Randy Orton, like they're made perfectly.
But when you look at Ciampa, you see the opposite.
Yeah, because I think
his leg holes are too big.
Yeah, the leg holes are a little bit too big and it's a little too loose, and so I was like, so it really made me think of what the issues lie in trunks. Even though trunks was like the first thing I did, and still something I've been trying to figure out. I think I finally figured it out to where I can make perfect trunks that don't ride up. But I love
that,
these.
TV land.
Fuck yeah. And other than that, something small, just my dumb shirts, as I like to call them, just where I found some Gildan 100% cotton shirts that they had a pack of at Walmart, and I was like, oh, okay, I might as well just mess around with this. But they had different colors, so I was able to make a Don't Trust Human shirt, a Schwing shirt for Wayne's World, one that just says pain, because I just like the idea of having a shirt that says pain.
Okay.
It makes me think of Mr. T in
Rocky
III. Pain. And did another one that I can't fucking remember. But no, those are pretty fun to do, and I hope to do some more shirts, have more laying around. So they just fit perfectly. I don't necessarily like how the 100% cotton feels, but they just fit very comfortably.
I mean, nowadays, for me, it's about the fit, because... got to cover up the fat middle. You know what I mean? They gotta hug the right spots and let the other spots drape.
They fit. They don't fit tight around my biceps, but they're fitted. But they're also a nice little, a good length.
Nice
too. So like the only thing is that once I wash them a couple times, they could probably be ruined.
See, I like to get shirts that I could Donald Duck in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like. You know, so like the middle's really long to cover up my schlong, you know what I'm saying? I can walk around my house with just socks and in my long shirt with a stormtrooper on the front.
Good.
Yeah.
One of the other shirts I did make was one that says athlete, but then spray painted over it says loser. I just like the idea of having a shirt that
you are a loser athlete. That's so perfect.
Exactly.
So good.
Every sense of it. But yeah, that's about it for me. What do you got?
So for a while I've been talking about how I wanted to design the character select screen for a mock fighting game with my friends in it, and I started that. I actually got the UI pretty much figured out. I think I just need a couple more things before I'm actually happy with the layout, but I did do the layout, and then I added some characters in the little squares and stuff. I think I need to do maybe two more people before I'm actually like happy with the final product. But aside from that, you know, so I can like interchange some of the characters. But aside from that, I think I'm going the right path. I'll be posting a progress shot of it here on my Instagram pretty soon, next few days here. And yeah, that's my pet project that I've been up to for a while. And so far, I think it came out, well, I mean, so far so good. Yeah, that's what I have to say.
Still in progress, right?
Yeah, still in progress. I was trying to figure out if I wanted, like, to illustrate, you know, the profile or, like, the shoulders above shot in a different illustration like I did for your merch. Like in a different illustration, so that, you know, that would be behind the character when you select them.
Oh, yeah.
So, but, you know, it's a lot of work, you know, it's a lot more work, but I'm still thinking about maybe doing it depending on, you know, if people want them, you know, because what I want to do is I want to make this character select screen, and I want to make it available as a print for anybody who wants it. Mm-hmm. So if you want to see your character versus another character or a friend of yours, you can do that in this character select screen gimmick that I got mocked up. So far so good. I really like it. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. Problem is I got a lot of other stuff on my plate that I should get to first before finishing this. But I'll get there eventually. But so far I really like it. Next up, I also did I was just practicing some painting, and I did a Predator just cause I really wanted to do a Predator. And, you know, all the movies had just come out, we'd seen them, and I just felt like practicing more digital paint work, so that's what I did. And it started off as an illustration, like a sketch to inks, and then after that I was just like, I need to work on my paint. So I kept going, and then it turned out pretty good. Actually better than I thought it was going to turn out, so I'll actually have this available for print. So I have an account up finally on DeviantArt, so some of these images will be available for prints no matter how you want them. So if you guys want them canvas style with an actual border, if you want it stretched, you want it normal poster size, you want a small print, that's all available through DeviantArt. So if you go to DeviantArt, just look up Sean Iredale Art, and you'll see all the stuff that I have uploaded on there. So there's that. So I've been working on that. It took me a while to set that page up, but I'm surprised it took me this long to get there. And I also did, well, you guys know me. I'm a huge fan of Big Blue. Superman's my dude. Of course, I'm the guy who likes Superman and Captain America, but whatever. Supes is my guy, and I always felt like lately his designs have kind of missed the mark. And if you guys know me and have listened to this podcast before, you know I got a serious gripe with undies over tights. I don't like it. You know, in professional wrestling was the only time I gave a shit about it.
It's old school wrestling, brother.
Yeah,
which I still get asked to do that every now and then.
Yeah, and I like it when they're the two-tone. Mm-hmm. Like I like Bret Hart style because I think the gear looks cooler when there's the seam.
Yeah.
You know, I like the seam, but still having the same color.
Yeah.
And the two tones are kind of cool. Don't get me wrong; it's very old school. But I don't like it on my superheroes, especially now in this day and age where you run on practicality. Mm-hmm. I believe nowadays you want things to look more like a suit and less like a costume, because Batman's suit has always been practical, right? At least lately, even since Tim Burton era, which is, you know, amazing. I still love that suit design. Sure, he couldn't turn his head, but I still love the suit design. So for Soups, I saw that they put the diaper back on him, and I was very sad, you know, because I was like, shit. You know, to everybody else, this is iconic Superman. You know, this is the lore. This is the Superman I've known to love. But I'm like, modernizing somebody that's classic should be acceptable. Like, you shouldn't want to kill people if you wanted to take his red underwear off. It's just bizarre to me that people would complain. So, in this sense, I wanted Superman, and I'm explaining this like all of you out there are looking at this image. Yeah. So, I will be posting this as well, the final one, on my Instagram. And
Sean Slade.
And it is also available on the DeviantArt page, too. But, Sean Slade. Mm-hmm. Moving on. I really like the dark blue. Like, dark blue, I really love the color. And it makes the red contrast look good. And plus, Superman should have... It's an alien suit, right? Or it's a suit. So, much like the Man of Steel movie, which I did like the suit design, I think it was a little overcomplicated with, like, the black side piping and all that, like, crazy stuff. But I did like the concept. You know, essentially, you want to make a suit that looks like it can survive the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because he's leaving it all the time, right? So
it has to be able to withstand, like, the burning of going through the atmosphere.
Correct. You know, at least...
Or even taking damage when somebody shoots it with a bullet.
Or shoots it. Yeah, exactly. And then, like, another thing is his wrists always felt really naked, especially in the Rebirth, because that's all it was. It's just... It came down to past his wrist, and that was it. It's a literal U-neck shirt. He's just wearing a big-ass V-neck long john. Yeah. And I liked the gauntlet tip ideas, you know, some piping throughout the costume that I did to make it look like it had to be, like, put together a certain way. I always liked piping. My favorite Superman costume is the New 52 costume. Fuck everyone, fight me. I don't care. That is my favorite one. Fight me. But, you know, it's like, there's a lot of piping and extra lines in the costume. But the general feel of that is the way I liked it. It had a short cape, which is why I added that to my Superman design. Mm-hmm. I love the cape that comes to the calf. I love that because it's not big and clunky. I like the Chun Li style where when Soups was flying New 52, you could see the thin red line from where he flies off. Yeah. And it's like it's that red trail that you get. And when the cape is narrow and the cape is short, you can see, like, it's almost like a laser when he takes off from one spot to the other. So I always loved that trail. And yeah, you know, I don't want to brag on too much about it, but you know, the emblem I don't like to be really big. I liked it to be more confined. I do like the exposed traps, like the U-neck shirt, just because I think that's classic. Mm-hmm. Like, my personal favorite's having the high collar, but if you're talking Superman and ode to nostalgia, I'd say expose his neck and a little bit of his shoulders. So it's just small stuff like that. Giving a sleek belt that still has the red and the yellow accents so that there's something in the middle that breaks up the costume. That's fine, so it doesn't look like a leotard. Like, I like that. And I'm a huge fan of tall boots. Huge fan. There was some movie concepts of his costume back in like when they were going to do that Justice League era stuff or the first Justice League era stuff where his boots were really tall, like right to the start of the calf. And I like the dip right in the middle shin bone because then it's like an identifiable shape. It's something else that you go, that's cool. It's like a little slight nuance that you memorize. Like, I like the V-cut boot, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just, some subtle changes, but I think just some little subtle ones make everything better. I also like the inside of the cape being maroon, like a different tone, and then the outside being the red that matches the boots, because then you get a little bit more depth without being overcomplicated.
And does yours ideally have the yellow one on the back?
I didn't illustrate the back
but
S symbol.
In your mind, do you
see it's hard to explain. In my head, what I would actually do, like personally, if I did illustrate the back, I might do another image where I do it. But I would do the maroon red on the bright red for the S. So it would be red on red essentially. Okay. So that the S would be subtle, but it wouldn't be the hard black S. It wouldn't be the bright yellow S. Yeah. I just like it's almost like if it would be a different fabric but the same tone of red. I really like that. So if light was shining off of it, the S would gleam, but the rest of the cape wouldn't because it's flat. I like that idea. So I always thought that'd be cool. But that's me personally. So yep, that's it for my creative side. I've been busy trying to stay drawing. I will be switching jobs here coming up soon in the next few days. And I will be on a banker's schedule, which is wild.
Banker's schedule.
So I will actually have my Saturdays and Sundays completely free, and I haven't had that shit since I was a teenager. So this should be a really good time.
It's something. No matter what type of life you live, like being able to have the weekends is just so satisfying.
Oh, satisfying. It's so that's
I don't know what it is for me because like considering I am currently working from home with the wrestling gear,
and you work on weekends.
Yeah,
sometimes in the wrestling gear.
Yeah, in the wrestling gear. Yeah, sometimes. But it's like when I have the weekend, like I try to allow myself weekends. So it's like I strictly work Monday through Friday, and I have my little breaks here. But like I try to cram as hard as I can the times that I am home working during the day, and like sometimes I will sew past 10 p.m.
Ooh.
Sometimes.
Ooh.
But I try to have a cutoff sometimes. But when it comes to the weekend, like I try to give myself I like the idea of a half day on Friday and having Saturday and Sunday off.
Yeah. And I'm feeling that life.
Yeah. So once it comes, you'll be able to have your options open to be able to go to shows or just go do karaoke, go to bars, hang out with friends, and just have a totally different life.
Because all my best friends currently have their weekends off, and it's even the ones that do work their weekends, they're off by like fucking 2. So now, get fucked, planet. I'm now where I should be. So congratulations to me for that.
This planet's a giant pussy just waiting to get fucked.
Yeah, shit'll make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Yeah! We're gonna run on the Predator pod. I think we should do that.
Predator pod?
Well, because I think next we gotta watch... By the way, to everybody out there, we're catching Lewis up on the Predator series.
Yes.
I think next up, I just want you to watch Predator 2, and then we can give... I want to hear your 2 cents about the 3 that we've watched.
Yeah, because we watched the most recent one, the Predator.
Oh, wait, then it would be 4 after you watched 2.
Yeah, because after that we watched the one that preceded this most current one.
Yep.
Which was
Predators.
And
then I made you watch the first one.
The very first one, which I don't remember ever seeing beginning to end. Mm-hmm. If anything, I think I just know it more as a reference point.
Sure.
And after watching it, it's like, this movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
like, even... even like my girlfriend's friend, like Jessica, that you met, like she said it's literally one of her favorite movies ever.
Oh, whoa! I wouldn't have seen that.
I would never expected that.
She must like dudes.
She surprises me a lot. But like, no, it's so yeah, and definitely was a really good movie. Like, I'm not gonna nitpick at it. I think it was just a great movie, especially for its time. Looking back at it, just kind of like the tonal changes through it too. Yeah, it's just like it's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, let's save that for a whole cast.
And very quotable too. So.
Yeah, very. hence that just happened.
Yeah.
So let's float over to the entertainment side of things.
Do you want to talk about toys?
Oh, I guess we could get there. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
Toys
is always a very small subject. So
because I can make it a very large subject, but I'd rather not drag on. So first and foremost, we'll talk about that. Marvel Legends 10-year anniversary series 2-pack with Crossbones and Captain America that you've been achieving via customs.
Yes.
I took the helmeted head for Captain America and just put it on my Mezco Commander Rogers, and it is fucking perfect. Mm-hmm. So, to everybody out there, do that. Because this thing is insane. It fits so well.
Like, how many head changes has this figure gone through?
Now officially 3.
Alterations and shit.
Man,
what did you change? Did you give it different?
Yeah,
you want fingerless gloves.
So eventually I think it'd be cool to have fingerless gloves, but I know that's probably not going to happen unless there's a Mezco that isn't a Joker that has it. Yeah. I can't imagine one that would get released. Yeah. And the other thing is, what's another thing I wanted?
Did you redo the magnet? Or was
I put the magnet, I redid the paint on the shield and added a magnet to the back of the Civil War, the Civil War damaged Captain America shield. Mm-hmm. So I made it, since it was from a Marvel Legend, I added the magnet and repainted it a little bit to fit the Mezco. So now he's on there, and then I repainted the Steve Rogers head that came with it to match the Mezco neck. So there's I did a lot of stuff to this guy.
Yeah. It's funny. I have so many freaking shields from all the Captain Americas.
Man, I think pretty soon you're just going to have to eBay those.
Yeah.
I think you'll be winning. But I just wanted to add that because the helmet head is probably the best helmet head.
And it's funny because I got 2 sets of these. One because you have one of your buddies grab it for like $24, and I saw it on sale at Target, so I was like, I'm gonna scoop this up. Doesn't hurt to have 2 since I want to make the twin snakes from Metal Gear Solid and stuff, so I should have the 2. But it's just funny how like the head sculpts are spot on, but the Captain America body is garbage.
Yeah, and they keep using it.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Just like it's so flat. It's like literally, it's like the least amount of sculpt on just a very flat body.
And
it's like no muscle or any sort.
And it's sad because they went through all the trouble to sculpt like the different textures and like the piping and the star, but the body is garbage. Yeah. So I'm just like, I don't know what.
So small compared to the head, but it's like, oh yeah, they made this pack just so you can use the heads for other figures. Is what it fucking feels like.
Apparently, that's what it was made for me.
And I thought that the Steve Rogers head from that was just perfect for what I want to do for the Solid Snake, which I already made the head for the Solid Snake, did the bandana, all that stuff. And I discovered something about the twist ties that we use. That you don't necessarily have to buy them. All you have to do is go to a supermarket, go into the vegetable section where they have the...
Oh, and you just take them.
They have the fucking tabs up there.
How did we never think of that?
I saw them up there and was like, these are perfect because they don't have... They don't have a bunch of stuff on it. Both sides are the same because typically a lot of those twist ties, one side is a lot more fabricy and can break, and the other side feels more plastic. At least from the ones I've seen. This one is just perfect on both sides, and it's just white. So it's just ready to do stuff with. So I just grabbed a handful of them. Yeah. And so I'm going to redo some bandanas and like see what else I can do. Make a Deathstroke just cuz.
Just cuz. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Moving on real quick, I acquired the Storm Collectibles Mike Tyson finally, and he is fucking great.
Yeah.
Fabric shorts on a 112 figure, fantastic.
Yeah.
His articulation, wonderful. His facial expressions, nailed it. his ability to punch other toys and make it look ruthless, incredible.
I want Storm to do a series of Rocky fucking figures.
Well, yeah, I don't know why.
I think NECA
did good ones.
Yeah.
But fuck, man, if Storm does them in scale with Tyson, I want
a freaking because if it's in scale with Tyson, it's just mixing them all up, but also just having Mr. T and Ivan Drago.
I would get a Mr. T real quick. Yeah, it would it would be so sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Tyson was worth it. I got a good price on him. Got to my house in a couple days. Had fun with him. Put some effects on his punches. It was really sweet.
Yeah, you got those effects from New York.
Yep. So
you got him punching Randy Orton on your shelf.
So I was in New York recently, and I had picked up these. I don't know if they're Bandai effects. Mm-hmm. They're not Tamashi, but they're for essentially like model kit effects for like Gundams and some of the figurized stuff. And they're awesome because the effects are all translucent. You can choose the colors. Like, I think they have like a gray, a purple, a gold, and like one other color. And I just grabbed a couple of golds for me and my buddy Seth. And yeah, you have to buy the stand. Mm-hmm. I found out separate for the parts that need to float. But the effects packs are only $10. So I got two, and that was at Midtown, or I think it was Midtown Comics. I think that's what it's called, in Times Square. So I was just like, shit, yeah. So I grabbed a couple of those. Speaking of the some more Storm collectible news, because they're all I care about. Fuck you, other than Disco right
they're
now.
They're fucking perfect figures.
We got they showed recently at New York Comic Con the Fist of the North Star Kenshiro prototype that, to my dismay, was a 6 scale. So that just means it's another giant Kenshiro I have to buy, and fuck all of you, it looks great. Also, they had. The Storm Collectibles had the exclusive Chun Li battle costume alternate figure available at New York Comic Con. Now, the stigma that surrounds this son of a bitch is that I wanted this figure right away because I loved that Chun Li battle costume. Like, it's like the small dress, her hair's down. But
like
it's
I'm going out on Saturday night.
Yeah, but exactly. It's just dope. It's like Club Chun Li, and plus her classic look is like fine. But I've always liked her alpha looks, and all her alternate looks have always looked better to me than her classic. So
well, alternate looks are great just because like they are what they are. They're alternate. They're different.
Yeah, they're different.
They just stand alone in a totally different way.
So this figure, thick-thighed Chun Li. Like her proportions are ridiculous, but they're definitely up to snuff Street Fighter V style because that game is ridiculous. So you could only get her at the con, and she was $75. Well, they sold out of her right away. Everybody bought her, and then everyone on eBay everybody got on eBay and tried to sell her, and everybody bought her. So she is now up to about $150. I've seen some for $199 on eBay right now. So I'm like, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to wait, because Storm Collectibles always releases their stuff to stores eventually. But all the groups I follow and all the guys that I was talking to in these toy groups were all selling shit just to buy her. And lo and behold, this morning, Big Bad Toy Store has her for pre-order. $75. You all can suck a dick. So, for future reference to everybody that wants a Storm collectible, and it's an exclusive, they're exclusive to the con right away, but you can order them, and they always make them available. So don't buy into the hype beast right away. All right, guys?
Because why not make more money?
Right, it's just wild, like $200. Like, yeah, that was crazy.
That's nuts.
But yeah, all you need is
one of these days I will get me a Storm that's in line with something I'm probably because if I'm going to invest into a Storm, I have to get something.
It's got to be something that you're into.
Yeah,
because
they do a lot of Street Fighter. I know they've done some They're doing some Mortal Kombat.
Doing a lot of Mortal Kombat now.
And they have some other random characters, but like they haven't really touched on anything that really speaks to me.
I mean, the Injustice line is huge to me.
Yeah.
I really want them to do. I know it's awesome that they did Lobo and Darkseid. It's actually amazing because those two characters I would not have expected.
Because you typically, and we talked about this before, you typically expect the
Superman, the Batman,
Batman,
whatever. The Supergirl was the poster child of the second game.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of want. It's kind of nice that they just kind of shift gears and went a different direction. Yeah, and went with characters you wouldn't expect, and it's like, stylistically these are cool characters. Like Lobo's an awesome looking character.
Yeah, God, he looks cool.
And like having a giant fucking Darkseid like on your shelf, like why the hell not?
You can't. But it saddens me because the one time I want the poster children for the company that's been making all my favorite shit, and they're like, nah, we're gonna do something different. So I'm like, fuck, now I guess I gotta get these two. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
so are those the only two they're doing for now?
For now. That's what they've showed.
Okay.
So we'll see how far it goes. I think usually the trend looks to be that they'll do 2 of a line to see how well it'll sell, and then they'll do the others upon, popularity. And right now, if you want a Storm Collectibles Scorpion, it'll cost you $160 because they were so popular. Yeah. So, I mean, hopefully they do well, because I think having another company do DC other than DC and Mezco is good, because all Mezco DC figures get sold the fuck out right away, and you can't get your hands on anything. Yeah. And the DC Essentials line, or the new one, is doing really good, but they're always going to be a specific style. So seeing other companies do it is really cool. So yeah, that's what I got for toy news. I'm sure I could keep going on, but I think that's the gist of it. Yeah. I just really enjoy Storm Collectibles, you sons of bitches, and I'm going to keep buying their stuff. Yeah. So yeah, we can pop on over to the entertainment side. Yes. Craven, you want to kick that son of a bitch off?
Yeah, so I got to watch Titans since I have the DC Universe app.
Sure.
And I got to watch it, realizing it was on. I watched it on my laptop while I was working. And it's a show.
Okay. First of all, how long is the show?
It is like a typical kind of hour-long show.
It's an hour-long show. Okay.
So it's like, I think it's like about 50 minutes maybe.
Okay.
Like 45, 50 minutes. And it's like... the way DC Universe is doing it, they're doing a week-to-week thing, which I think is great. It helps people kind of stay on track with it.
It's how it should be. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to binge watch the shit that's already out, but if you got new programming, keep it on a weekly schedule. Yeah. Because then everybody can't spoil it the next day. Yeah. And just, it's not worth it.
Because we're so used to being spoiled with getting everything at once with
everything else,
especially the anticipated shows. It's like, oh my god, we're gonna get all this, except with the exception of like HBO shows and stuff like Game of Thrones or whatever. It's all the best stuff. Yeah, it's all thrown up there. Like now it's being thrown week to week with the DC Universe, and it's I think it's a really great move. Really allows people to really take their time and actually dive into other stuff. Other media on the app than to kind of rely on like, I'm only getting it for this show, I'm going to binge watch it and then I'm going to cancel it. It's like you kind of have to hang on to it. So it's a very smart move.
Especially if you like the show, right?
Yeah.
So, what were some... So why was it just a show? What turned you off first?
So what really actually turned me off was just how dark and gritty it is. Like, it really, nowadays, a lot of people don't want to feed into stereotypes, and DC has become stereotypically a dark universe, and they fed into the stereotype with this. And I think it's a really weird way to go, especially for Titans. I feel like it could have been lightened up a little bit, and I don't mean telling jokes.
I mean, you don't.
That's not what I mean.
No,
I mean that it's like unnecessarily bloody and brutal, and like I think the Robin arc is really the most interesting thing. I feel like they didn't even need to do Titans. They should have just done Robin.
Sure.
Like I feel like that would have been great. But doing Titans is like, you know, it's an interesting thing since, you know, there's interest in it. But like kids who watch Teen Titans Go are not going to be into this.
Well,
or they shouldn't.
Nor
at
should
all.
they watch it. Yeah.
But like it's pretty insane. But like you have Dick Grayson, who is he's a detective in Detroit, and and so I think it's kind of. I haven't read a lot of the Robin or Nightwing comics. I only read a couple of the Nightwing comics, but or trades anyway. And so it's probably kind of like probably something that leads into the eventual Agent Grayson type thing.
Or sure.
Yeah, whatever it is. But no, him there, and then he's like, you know, scoping, and he has this thing, and he even say it in the episode where it's like, oh, Grayson, you have this thing for kids. So it's like, okay, so he's the only cop in the department that doesn't want kids getting hurt. So it's kind of like, like everyone else in Detroit doesn't give a shit about kids. With Dick Grayson,
hey, Dick Grayson, he cares about kids.
Yeah, that's kind of
moving on.
It sounds ridiculous, but like that's literally the kind of how they give it to you. It's like, oh, you like kids. It's like, okay, but like, and so in the season, it's supposed to center around like the kind of coming of age of Raven, who's named Rachel in the show, but they say in the show that your name isn't Rachel, but they don't say that whatever else it is. So it's her figuring out her powers and like they're trying to figure it all out. So it's really hard to really judge the show on a whole because it is just the first episode, but I do truly feel it is a weak start for the show because the best part of the show is really the thing that we saw in the trailer was Robin coming down beating the shit out of those guys and saying fuck Batman. But it leads up, it all builds to that moment where he says fuck Batman, because it was very much a like you see him go from the rooftop and then he comes all the way down and he comes down on the car, and the guys see him. It's like, it's the Bird Boy, like, where's Batman? Batman has to be here somewhere. And it's like, fuck Robin, Batman has to be here. And then he just starts beating the shit out of him. Like, he drops and it's a very cool moment, but I really feel like they could have done better with the fight scenes. And since I didn't see the first season of Iron Fist, I feel like from what I heard of Iron Fist, this is what they were talking about, maybe?
Impossible!
Yeah. But, like, you know, you can tell they tried to keep a lot of it in single shot, so I can appreciate that. But it all seemed very stiff. It seemed very weird. Nothing's really connecting. And I think I told you before, is that it looked like I was watching a stage play. Which was like really bad, and there's like certain things like wigs and stuff like look really bad in the show, and I feel like it has to be dark because it's trying to hide those things, and which is very sad considering like even their fucking $1 billion movies or the $1 million movies that they make do the same freaking thing by making things take place at night to hide these things. But I didn't hate the show. I just think there was like a lot of like you have Robin, who was great. I really loved him. I kind of really wish the show was mostly based around him. Raven's just like a nice little, Raven. She's just like, you know, a nice little thing to kind of progress the story. I kind of like what they're trying to do with her.
Yeah, I just from what was described, I really like.
Yeah, it's interesting because it really adds. There is some contrast, and that's supposed to be the thing that they're doing throughout the show. Is that there is going to be a huge contrast between all the characters because you have a more lighthearted kind of jokey feel with Beast Boys, what you're supposed to get. You have this real darkness and like really grimness with Raven. You have Robin is a little more down to earth and real but gritty, and then you have Starfire that's supposed to be a little bit more out of this world. And I am really not a fan of the actress who plays Starfire. I kind of like the idea of Starfire being a little bit more clueless in a way. Like they can bring her down to earth, but like they really.
I thought that was part of the joy of that character was trying to her getting acclimated to how life is here.
Yeah, and the way they do it in this is that she was in a car crash, so she has amnesia. Come on. But like she doesn't have any sort of accent, but she's in Moscow, Russia, and what takes me out of a show is making me have to read. There's a lot of reading I have to do of subtitles, but like, and you know, she's dressed up as a hooker for whatever reason. She was in a relationship with this dude, but like, and it ends up leading to her just kind of burning all these guys to death, and she kind of likes it. So
spoiler alert.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. It
was a show.
It was a show.
Well,
I hope there's more to it, and you don't see Beast Boy until like the last 2 minutes.
That's sad.
So
I mean, we'll get there.
But you get a taste of what he's about. He's a kid. So like once you get there, you realize that because he's 15 and I think Raven's like 15 too. So it's probably kind of leaning towards them potentially liking each other because they're the same age. Where where Starfire is older, Robin is older, so they can lean towards that. But I feel like they may be doing something with Grayson and his partner, his cop partner in the show, whatever, maybe. But we'll see. And they hint at stuff. They mentioned the Joker. They mentioned that he had issues with his other partner.
That's at least they're not pulling that Marvel trope where they don't want to mention the things that.
But they have like a cool little moment that's also in the beginning of the show is because you've seen the clips of him in his loft apartment, which is really big because Dick Grayson is known for having his loft apartment that has all his stuff, one big giant room that has everything that he needs. And after he's in the alley and he beats the shit out of those guys, he goes to his loft apartment, and it's a cool little thing where his little Robin orangs are.
I forget the dinghies.
Yeah.
That's what they're called, dinghies.
His little dinghies. One of them is it kind of makes me think of Christopher Reeve's Superman when he takes the thing off his chest and throws it. But his R is one of the dinghies.
Oh, cool.
So he can replace it and all that stuff. But he has multiple
wingdings.
Okay,
right?
That sounds right.
Wingy dinghies. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. We're gonna call them batarangs.
But you see him because he's all bloodied, and so you see him kind of cleaning his suit. And I like moments like that where it's like, what are the moments outside of them just beating the shit out of criminals? Is having to deal with the fact that their suit is fucked up or their suit is bloody and they have to clean it and have to clean their batarangs that are left, and you see him cleaning his R and under the sink, and then he tosses it at his punching bag and he replaces one and puts it in there, and you hear in there. I was like, oh, that's a cool little thing. So it's little moments like that. It's I really appreciate it. It's always 30 seconds of a show or a movie, but I always like those little moments that just feel real. I
like that too. I think that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, but you got to see Venom, which I did not get to see. I kind of didn't have much interest in it.
I understand after all the media shit and all
everything talking about it, just this doesn't sound interesting to me. I get forming my own opinion, but honestly, it's it just didn't sound interesting.
So, I usually trust IGN for their ratings because I usually feel the same way. Well, I don't usually. No. We'll say usually. I usually trust them. I think they gave Last Jedi way too high of a score. It's just stuff every now and then. But IGN really didn't like this movie. Whoever reviewed it, and they really didn't like this movie. And people talking shit. There was a few people talking shit. Now, I went in there hella skeptical. I wasn't gonna go see it because of the same. I just heard that it was awful. And then a friend of mine from work was like, "Hey man, we should, you want to hang out?" I was like, "You know what? You cool if we go see Venom?" They were like, "Yeah, that's cool." I was like, "Sweet." So we just watched it, and I have to say that movie was awesome. And I didn't see myself saying that shit, but it really was. Tom Hardy's performance as Eddie Brock was really good.
If anything, that is the only thing I heard that is good in the movie.
Well, but remember that it is the best part of the movie because he is the most important part of the movie. So if he is what the movie's about and he's got all the screen time, why would it suffer? Especially if he's the best part. To tell you the honest to good goddamn truth, you look forward to every time he's on the screen. Especially, okay, so the movie starts off a bit slow, obviously, because that's how all these introduction movies go. They changed the origins up a lot of it from the symbiotes and shit. I think it's a great change in the backstory. Also, it's building up all the shit that Eddie has to go through, you know, in the beginning. But once he gets the symbiote, it's fucking great. It's awesome. It is exactly how I... Like, when I saw the symbiosis between Venom and him, and they're, like, talking and doing their thing together, I'm like, yeah! Yes! This is exactly... Like, when I read the books, and I look at Venom, and I'm like, yes, this is exactly how I would expect him to sound. Yes, this is some shit I expect him to say. This is... Especially when he's fighting people and hopping around and shit, I'm like... Yes! Like, holy shit, yes! Like, I don't know, man. And it was wild because I was pleasantly surprised. Did I think this movie was fucking perfect? No. But I thought it was better than a lot of movies that people shat their pants over. Like, I liked Venom way more than I liked Thor Ragnarok, and I don't need to go into detail about that. But Venom was more of my style film in terms of, like, there was a performance that he had to nail in order to nail this character. When I watched Ragnarok, those weren't performances, those were just comedic. Like, I just felt like I was watching SNL, like I said. Just a high budget.
It's not like they were working, they were playing.
They were playing, yeah. And that was the point of the film, don't get me wrong. It is literally apples and oranges.
I feel like because of it leaning right into Infinity War, it was because that's why.
It was, it was wise to position, too.
Yeah, because, like, it was, nothing mattered.
Yeah, at the end of the day, none of that shit.
It was nothing. Like, when you look back on it after Infinity War, it's like, it didn't matter.
And you know what now in retrospect, now that I think about it, what the fuck was the point in Asgard just being blown up and shit anyway?
Yeah.
If
everybody died.
And if
only half of them died.
But I'm saying there would be, the consequences would feel even more dire if, like, Asgard was like, and the Warriors 3 are gone. Yeah. And you were like, what? Like,
yeah, that was a weird thing.
But anyway, moving on. I digress. So the villain's a throwaway villain. Obviously, Marvel shit. But I really liked the design of Riot. And I was worried because Riot's like, it's another symbiote. And Riot in the film is the same color, essentially, as Venom. He's, like, more gray. He's not as dark, but essentially...
Instead of the blue tones as a gray tone.
So I was really, like... the inevitable. What I'm always pissed about, what I always hate, via Transformer style, is just piles of shapes and goop and junk
cameras all up in there, hiding all the flaws.
You can't. So when they did fight in regular form, it was at night. It was still good. Like, I could actually perceive what was going on. Except towards the end, it started to get all, like, slapping against each other. But that, it was for a purpose. Like, it had a meaning. Because they're symbiotes, right? And eventually, like, they get stuck, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the performance was definitely the best part. And Venom and Eddie and both of them together were the best parts of the movie. And that was the last half of the film. Plus, the first half of the film was just Eddie Brock establishing himself. And since the performance was good, I enjoyed that too. So there's lots of stuff in that movie, especially if you're a Venom fan, that you should be all right with. It definitely got punched by the rating. Like, that was an issue.
Yeah.
However,
it's still made.
They still didn't shy away from people's heads being bitten off.
Yeah.
It's
like,
just,
you don't see the blood, but you
exactly. But holy shit, do you see it?
Get it?
It's brutal. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it. So at the end of the day, man, like, That movie is definitely worth going to see.
So after watching it, considering it had a PG-13 rating, how do you feel it would have been if it probably would have been way better.
It would have been better, just because that is the character, right? But I also grew up watching Venom in the comics, and you didn't see him eviscerate people. You know what I mean? Essentially, you never see Venom bite someone's head off. It was always the threat. Or it was always implied the way that he did it. Or, you just don't actually see the act in the Marvel books because they're Marvel books.
So what they did in the movie is pretty accurate.
Yeah, so essentially when you're watching the movie, it's pretty accurate. But the character Venom would make it R. If they were to show it in detail, yeah, you should. And them cursing to each other is awesome. There's just not a lot of it. But it's awesome, him calling him a loser and him calling him a dumbass and you ain't shit. Well, you ain't shit. He calls him a pussy at one point. It's great. It's awesome. So to everybody out there, don't buy into the horse shit. See it for yourself, man. That movie, it's worth it. I made a post on my Facebook saying I liked Venom, and every one of my buddies who are critical, mind you, they are just as bad as I am a lot of times with these films, we're all I liked it too. Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Yeah, it was good. Seriously, a lot of people like this film, and I think you should give it.
It almost feels like we're on I didn't even see it, but you're on the side of because I look at it from the outside as Suicide Squad. So how
sure?
So how
how people are oh, it was good.
Yeah, dude. People because more people hated it than loved it. And what was it? Actually, no. Actually, if anything, a lot more people loved it than hated it.
You think so?
Kinda, because it did get a lot of praise and it did make a lot of money. And then it fucking even won a fucking award.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And
but it was sound design or something, right?
It was for special effects it was for special effects for the practical effects and all that stuff.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, but no, but it almost feels in that realm where it's we're on the side of the people who liked it versus the people who didn't like it, and you're it was fine. Don't buy into all that shit when it's yeah, it has its flaws, but that's if anything, it gets nitpicky. I'll probably still have to see it. I kind of feel a little bit more intrigued considering I heard out of everything.
If I know you, I think if I know you well enough, I think you will hate the first part just because slow moving.
Yeah.
But you'll really like the second half. And I wouldn't say you'd hate the first part.
I think
you'd be all right with it.
Yeah, I'll probably be fine with it. I just know when movies take too long to kind of get to the point, or longer than it should.
A perfect example is Power Rangers. That's how I feel about this. Power Rangers had a slow start.
Yeah.
That movie started slow. But the characters were interesting. I gave a shit about them, most of them.
Yeah.
So I was oh, okay, and seeing them interact was cool.
Yeah.
So it made the journey awesome when you finally got there. It's the exact same pacing in Venom. And once everything starts again, you're oh! And plus, they do a real good job dodging the Spider-Man and the other shit, because obviously they wanted to see if this worked first.
On its own.
But, man, seeing this Venom actually, talk and be around Tom Holland would be fucking gold.
Yeah.
Bars of gold. Because it would... you just see it. Because the personality and the way they interact, the way they would react to Spider-Man would just be so perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. I think
that's interesting. Yeah.
I hope it works out. But I want you to see it and then give your review next cast because I'm very curious.
I'll give it a shot. I know Halloween's coming out this weekend, and I already made a date for that to go see that.
Man. So, I want to. Apparently, that movie's the second coming of film. Yeah. So I want to see it.
Since I've heard like good things, I kind of really want to see it for my own opinion. It's just I think because like last two weeks have been slow for me, so trying to go to the movies hasn't really been a thing. And I was kind of like I want to see Venom, but I'm kind of on the fence. And I think timing wise, things just didn't work out.
Yeah.
So it was timing more than disinterest, and then over time, it's just like I saw enough stuff talk about it. And I was like. Yeah, I don't really care at this point. I'd see it on Redbox probably, or maybe if I feel like it, I'll go on my own to the theater and just check it out. Or something.
I mean, I'll gladly see it again.
Yeah.
So I'll end it with this. One of my good buddies, my brother from another mother, Jonas. Mm-hmm. He is a huge mark for 3 characters. His biggest, 4 if I'm counting a Predator, I think. But Daredevil. Venom, Predator, and I forgot the other one. But either way, he's a huge fan. He's always been a fan for Venom, right? And he's like, "Did you see Venom yet?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Oh, it was cool." I was like, "Oh, okay," but he kept it at that. Like he didn't. And then after I got out the movie, I messaged him. I was like, "Dude, Venom is awesome." He was like, "I know, right? I just didn't want to give you my full review because like I was worried that I was maybe the crazy person."
Yeah, it's like, am I fucking
crazy? Am I nuts?
Like
he was like, "Am I stupid for liking this?" I was like, "No, this is fucking cool."
That's I think it's somewhat how I felt when I saw Last Jedi. Where I felt like, am I fucking
awesome? But am I weird for liking this?
Yeah, it's like I really liked it. What the fuck is wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me?
That movie
is it everyone else?
That movie's polarizing, so I understand that question. Yeah. But yeah, I think Venom definitely deserves a lot more
especially,
credit than it got.
I think because like, and it definitely should be a movie I want to see because I always want to see Tom Hardy act. Yeah, and I want to see him like kind of have fun on screen, and not just be covered up. And just
man, it's awesome
because I really like Tom Hardy, and I like anything that he's pretty much done because he's an amazing actor, and I feel like some of the roles he ends up taking just end up like kind of limiting him, but he does his fucking best with the roles that he's given.
Yeah. And since he has so much time. Mm-hmm.
It's literally centered around him. Like the entire movie.
Gets and he throws his chops in. Yeah. Like I feel like he's in New York. I feel like his life sucks. I feel like he's an endearing character. Like it's good. It's good. Yeah. And also he's like kind of a piece of shit. Yeah. Because Eddie Brock should be a piece of shit. Yeah. Like kind of a piece of shit. So I'm glad that you get the anti-hero vibe out of it. Yeah. Yeah, so definitely go see it.
Awesome.
Let's see. Just real quick, before we segue into the Aquaman trailer, I'd like to bring up Iron Fist is canceled. Fuck yeah. All right, now Aquaman trailer.
Yeah, Aquaman trailer. I saw it, and it's not a trailer. It's just like a piece of the movie.
I would say, you know what?
It's a little bit. It's
like a trailer, then a part of the film, and then trailer, and then a scene. Yeah,
But I think this did an amazing job of really selling the film.
Yes,
because I really felt a little. If anything, I feel the one-liners is what's gonna kill it for me.
Yeah, I'm definitely scared.
Like I dig Jason Momoa. I love his personality. I get that this is not Aquaman. This is Jason Momoa playing Aquaman. Or Aquaman playing Jason Momoa, whichever way you want to look at it.
Whichever way you want to see it.
But like I think the one-liners might be a little bit too much, and it's like it has a bright tone that's great. I feel like a movie like this needs that, but I feel like there's always a bit of like DC should have that little sense of darkness, but a movie like this definitely needs its brightness
to set it apart. I agree. But right now, okay, here's what's like kind of wild to me. Aquaman is brighter than Shazam, and I think that should be switched.
Yeah.
Right, because Shazam's tone I feel like should be way more Aquaman's tone, and Aquaman should be more Shazam's tone. But I digress.
No. No, it looks what they gave us. It was really, really cool. We got a sense of how the filming, the cinematography is going to be with some of the action that's going to happen. Black Manta looks fucking awesome.
Looks sweet.
It's so cartoony and ridiculous, and it's exactly what this movie needs.
Exactly what you need.
And I dig the kind of parkour running scene of like when Mara running through the town and just busting through walls and all that stuff, and it's just like it just looks freaking awesome. And just everything, I think, the color palette and the hue, and just like I feel like this movie is going to be great. I am definitely more interested in it now after seeing that than I was before the other trailer, because the other trailer made it look a little goofy to me. And like,
I think the reason this trailer was the reason this trailer is the way it is because this was the to all those worried trailer.
Yeah,
don't be.
Because it's like James Wan, right? James Wan. It's like he's listening. Like he is God. He is listening, and he is answering. Unlike some people do, like in certain companies that involve square circles. But but no, like he's listening. People saw the trailer, and he saw that people were like digging it. Some people were not digging it. There was like, there's always good, you can't please everybody type of situation. And then he was like, okay, for the people that don't like it, like the people who do like it, they're gonna love this. But for people that don't like it, let's give them this. A little bit of a different trailer. It's like just a little bit more of what we already gave him, plus this scene that still.
This is how he's gonna act.
Yeah, this is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. This is this scene. There's still some parts probably not even in that we're gonna see in the actual film. But seeing that, just that whole 4-minute trailer / clip, I think it was really good for him to do, especially showing that we are listening. This is what the movie in tone is going to be like, and it sold it for me, because now I am actually, before I was like, I'm probably not going to see this. Now I'm just like, you know what? I am going to actually see this now. Yeah.
And that's important. I had everything I didn't like about this trailer was definitely nitpick worthy, but small shit like Mara running away from everything was like really funny to me because she's in the desert in these fucking wedged heels, and she's running on these rooftops with these wedged heels, and it doesn't look like she's running for her life. It looks like she's just kind of running, and like she's like, oh, they're shooting. Oh, I'm going to keep running. So, more so, it looks like the stunt person is just trying to make it through this obstacle course. It looks like she's doing Ninja Warrior. Yeah. That's what it looked like to me. So, that was one of my gripes. I understand the one-liner gripe. Because, like, in my head, she was like, we need water to activate it. And then she did the extraction from his forehead. And she's like, and you're the closest source. When she pulled the water from his forehead and they showed her hand, I think the next scene should have been the picture of like where the water needed to go, and then he just spit on it.
I guess.
Because he was like, I could have just peed on it. Yeah. But like just that little bit, he should have just been like, puh! He was like,
well, it's like,
why did you have to be extra? It's right here.
Yeah.
Just...
did he say it like you're just showing off?
Yeah. But he was like, you're just showing off. I could have just peed on it.
Yeah. Because I guess when it comes to this movie, especially the world of Atlantis and the world of like Aquaman, just this kind of extraordinary type of stuff, I feel like Jason Momoa's Aquaman is supposed to be kind of like us. Like, at least the half of him that is human is us, where it's like, well, you could have did this instead. So it's like the things that we would think of, he's actually saying as one-liners, which I think, is interesting. But, like, I feel like too much of it.
I think that's going to be a huge dynamic of the character. But, if he does it too much, it's going to be...
Yeah, where it's like that's all he is one-liners. It's like... Yeah, it's like having that one friend that he doesn't actually say real words. He just says quotes from movies.
Yeah. Fuck that friend.
Which is an entire wrestling locker room.
Yeah. Absolutely. Fuck all y'all. But yeah, but it's the best trailer by far.
Yeah.
Best trailer by far. Had a lot of there was a lot in the trailer, and I don't even think it really scratches the surface.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. And then
people were upset about just the reveal of the costume. I think him actually wearing the comic accurate costume at the end.
Don't be upset about that.
It's like, why? But I think people feel like this showed way too much, and even James Wan came out and it's like, you know what? Trailers by nature are spoilers. Are filled with spoilers. So if you don't want to see it, don't. If you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch any trailers.
Watch the trailer, yeah. And not to mention, like I said, this movie's going to be over 2 hours long. You saw him in that suit for like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
You know? You didn't even see him move in the suit.
Yeah.
And if you were upset about the trailer, I guess you don't walk into a Target.
Yeah.
Because his outfit has been spoiled for weeks, for almost months, in a Target aisle when they show his toy and he's wearing gold scales and green bottoms. Yeah. It's like, fuck.
But the toys are hard to really. It's hard to consider the toy spoilers sometimes because they do make those different. They do make, because like if we believe the toys all the time, then we would believe that like, oh, there is an Arctic Batman or there is an Aqua Batman costume.
Well, like more like, you know, I guess your casual wouldn't know, but like when you look at the series of figures and it's like, oh, that's Orm, that's this. You build the crab person. You're just like, oh, all right.
Then again, there's also a good percentage of people in the world that don't cruise down the toy aisle like we do.
All of them. But yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, did I mention that Iron Fist is canceled? Fuck yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, and Daredevil is like next week.
Yes, it is. And I love when they do this with trailers.
Comes out on my goddamn
where it's
birthday?
like they spend so much time like away from like, okay, we're going to talk about Daredevil. We're not going to say like, oh, it's going to come out this time, blah, blah, blah. We're just going to say that we're, you know, oh, it's in production or blah, blah, blah. They don't really say anything about it. And then out of nowhere, they deliver a fucking amazing trailer hinting at new characters, old characters. Like, he's going back to the old suit and all that stuff. And guess what? You're going to see it in 2 weeks. It's like, that's fucking awesome. Instead of me waiting like 3 months to 4 months to where like I'm gonna forget that it even pops up and have to keep seeing little things, like, no, you just throw it up 2 weeks before it's gonna be on Netflix and there you go. And I am fucking excited for this because this is,
am I excited.
Oh yeah, because like out of all the like Netflix shows, this is the one that like holds my fucking heart because it's so freaking entertaining to me. No matter how grim or even, you know, slow moving some episodes can be, it's still freaking. I love all those characters.
Yeah, and that exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think we're in a good spot. So would you? Well, we came up with the idea of doing Halloween picks since it's October.
Yeah.
We'll call this the October cast.
Yeah.
What are some of Craven's Halloween picks for film or TV shows?
So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of have, because I'm a fan of podcasts or anything that's, you know, themed behind like the holidays or certain holidays that are coming about or the seasons and stuff. So with it being October, I figured we should do just kind of like a little list thing or just naming off stuff that typically is either traditional for us around, you know, the October season and or that we traditionally watch or that we can't live without watching every year around the time. And, and one for me, I'm going to say this one just because it's more newer to me because Funhouse helped me discover this, is a movie called What We Do in the Shadows. I don't know if you've heard of this. So it is on Amazon Prime Video right now that you can watch it, but it is a mockumentary. And for those who don't know what a mockumentary is, it's just a fake documentary. But a mockumentary about like 3 or 4 vampires that live in a house in New Zealand. It is written and directed by Taika Waititi. And sorry if I butcher that name. I have trouble saying it.
No, that sounds correct.
So, and they play vampires who live in now. This movie was made in 2014. And it was made, you know, in a modern age. It's how these hundreds of years old vampires live in a modern day. They wake up at 6 p.m. every night out of their coffins or their closet or their their room that they have, and then they try to go about town trying to find victims. Some people are willing, some people are not. But they see other vampires throughout. They see like one of the groups. They see like 2 little girls that were bitten as they were little girls. So in order for them to find victims like that without just kind of going out and just killing anybody, like they put Craigslist ads up to find pedophiles, and they eat pedophiles. Nice. That's a very small thing in the movie, but that just kind of came to mind.
That's fantastic.
But Taika Waititi is a more kind of more effeminate and hundreds of years old vampire, and just kind of like he's kind of like the one that kind of wakes them all up and kind of keeps them all in line in a way. Yeah, and there's another dude that was like a German Nazi. He's a vampire. He sleeps upside down in the closet. There's another dude that is like the coolest look. He's like the coolest one because of mustache and long hair, and he's like the sexier one. He opens up his door and he's having like a vampire orgy on his roof, on his ceiling or whatever. And then like in the basement they have a Nosferatu type vampire that's in a tomb that he has to open, and he gives him a chicken in a bag to eat. And he's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a flat meeting in about 20 minutes, and you can come if you want." And he just goes like, and he freaks him out. And it's like, "Oh, it's okay." And he closes the tomb and he goes up and he's like, and his name is Peter. And they're sitting at the table and it's like, "So is Peter gonna join?" He's like, "Peter is 3,000 years old. He doesn't have to be here."
Yeah, he doesn't have to be here.
And then like, it's really my favorite scene in the movie is like right in the beginning where they're just at the table and one of them doesn't wash dishes for 5 years, and he's like, "You will wash the dishes." Like, "We're vampires, we don't wash dishes." It's like, "No, you will wash the dishes." You see piles and piles of dishes all over the fucking counters, and they like, "You will wash the dishes, I will not." And they just both like hover midair, hitting each other's chests with their chests and just hissing at each other. And then throughout the movie, it's just them dealing with being vampires. One thing, and then I'll move on. One thing is like, okay, they can't see their reflections. So in order for them to see how they look in certain images, they have to they draw each other. They sketch each other out, or they put their clothing on wires and have them walk down a hall just to see how they look.
Right. Right.
And then it progresses from there and how to deal with modern day stuff. But it's really hilarious, and now it's become part of my yearly thing. And I'll probably buy it so I don't have to rely on streaming, but it is hilarious.
I'll see it. I mean, that's the same director as Ragnarok, but it's not dealing with IPs, so
yeah.
I'm fine with it.
No, it is freaking awesome. And what is a one for you? We kind of bounce back and
Shark
forth.
Attack 3, Megalodon. Because you're all idiots if you haven't seen it. It has an epic performance by John Barrowman. It is...
John Barrowman, all right.
Oh, man.
John Barrowman. Okay, I was thinking John Bernthal.
No.
Barrowman.
And oh, man. It's a great film. Filled with Photoshop sharks and reused CG and old stock footage and blown up pictures of sharks and boats going in their mouths and really horrible practical effects and ketchup splatter. It is a delight. Yeah. Also, any Halloween Simpsons special from I'd say from like 95 to 98.
Yeah.
Because goddamn.
Yeah, those are always great to watch because they're not in context or anything, but really any episode of The Simpsons is not really doesn't have much context to anything. But no, they're just fun, silly little.
My favorite one was when the house was trying to get the Simpsons out, but they were all so fucking stupid that the house told them to get out so it could implode and kill itself because it could not handle how stupid the family was. So enjoy that episode. It's fucking great. Let's see. What's another one? Real quick. Watch the Michael Bay produced Friday the 13th movie. I love that movie still. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That movie's better than you think it was. And
Michael Bay produced one.
Yeah, it's fucking sweet. So watch that. All right, Craven, what's yours?
All right. We watched this last night. It's a zombie film, and it is called Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Is that any good?
That is awesome. Like, it's not... Like, I only take issue with the fact that there's a bit too much humanity in the zombies that there should be, meaning that, like, and it kind of makes me think of the original Dawn of the Dead, where they talk about how, like, they hang on to certain memories, so that's why they're coming to the mall and all that. But, like, you literally have a zombie stripper who, because she was a stripper, she starts stripping before she's getting ready to eat and eat one of the guys.
Because that's, like, what she's used to.
Yes, this is what she's used to. You have a homeless person who's wearing a Britney Spears shirt who sings Britney Spears songs because he mimics what the other kids are doing. So the kids are trying to sing Britney Spears to him to get him to sing Britney Spears. For what purpose? No idea. But it's just a funny little scene. It's just they do a lot of stuff with the zombies that's really played the comedy, which I feel like the zombies should be the most serious thing. But like there's certain elements throughout the movie that it's like it's funny, but then it's like really it's like that is not really what zombies are. But besides that, the movie. Number one, it has the best way to open up a zombie movie, which is completely out of context. It has a Blake from Workaholics, the dude with the long hair. And he's singing a song, Iggy Azalea song, but like he just starts playing it, and you just see him just like lip sync into the song, and then once it gets to the to the point to the name of the song, Black Widow baby, and then he just starts dancing around and he mops up this lab or whatever. But like it just the way it starts, I don't even like that song. I don't even really watch Workaholics, but I do like those guys. But just that scene.
Yeah, how about that? Watch Workaholics for fucking Halloween. Damn, they're funny.
But yeah, that Scouts Guide to Zombie Apocalypse follows 3 kids who are actual Boy Scouts, but are like in their late teens, and a couple of them want to get out of it. One of them wants to stay in it, but is in love with his friend's girlfriend or his friend's sister. And and they just kind of really coming of age tale throughout the evacuated city that is, and then but a bunch of teenagers in a very unrealistic teenage party that's somewhere. That it's where you just see girls just making out like whatever type of unrealistic that doesn't happen.
I've seen the trailer to it before.
Yeah,
so
it's a ridiculous movie, but it's a really fun zombie film to watch. So Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. That's one of the movies that has now become a staple of my October season.
Okay. Let's see what's another good one. You watch Alien or Aliens. I don't need to explain that. You're an idiot if you haven't seen them. The Relic movie's fucking underrated. It stands the test of time. As far as CG creatures go in the early 2000s, the fucker is still impressive. Really good practical effects in the film. One of the last times I've seen Tom Sizemore act well. And I love huge creatures. So please see this film. The Relic is fucking awesome. The book is great too. Just watch it, especially if you like giant mutant beasts. I'm actually planning on doing an illustration of it. The Cthulhu, I think is what it's called. So, yeah, that's coming. Let's see. Watch Akira. Akira is not October-themed nor Halloween-themed film. It is a cyberpunk film. However, no movie has generated nightmares in my childhood longer and more definitive than Akira. Plus, it's a traditional animated masterpiece. So, there's that. Suck a dick. Also, watch matches from Glacier. Also watch WCW Halloween Havocs. Where they had the giant gimmick pumpkin. So watch those. Jason X. That's a great film. If you don't think that movie's good, you're also an idiot. Let's see, what's another good one? That's it.
All right.
That concludes my list. Watch it.
Right.
Stupid.
So on my short list, clearly Child's Play.
Child's Play, awesome.
For sure. I think that's a great one. Still need to watch that this year. Obvious reasons. Child's Play is freaking awesome. If you haven't seen it, you're probably nuts.
Yeah.
Dawn of the Dead remake.
The remake. Hell yeah.
I really like that. It really introduced like the running zombies and
really, they were savages, boy.
Instilled my fear. Really like reignited my fear.
And that was the Zack Snyder film.
Yes. Yeah, and it's fucking nuts, and definitely like watching that every year. On the TV side, I say I'm all about the 90s when it comes to, I love watching any Halloween special of anything. I notice that even on Cartoon Network, as I leave it on the entire day, they have a little Halloween things going on throughout the day. But like I like thinking back to Home Improvement. They had some of the better sitcom Halloween themed episodes that were really entertaining. So get your hands on those. Check those out. Family Matters too. Also had a couple.
Family Matters.
Yes.
Fuck, I didn't see that coming out of you.
Oh man, I was addicted to Family
Matters.
That was my show. I was a huge mark for Family Matters. All those fucking shows I dug. Boy Meets World, typically known for its kind of I Know What You Did Last Summer themed episode, where it's really just Sean's dream, spoilers. Because Corey and Topanga broke up, the main two that we followed. Yeah, well, that isn't a spoiler, but like, but no, that was always a great episode, and we actually see everyone die, and yeah. But another thing I like to kind of gravitate towards is Halloween. All the Halloween commercials from back in the day, in the 90s. Like, you can go on YouTube and watch hour-long clips.
Just looking at them?
Just watch them. And, like...
That's a good one. I like that.
Yeah, just going onto YouTube and just having them on, sitting down with, like... I know me and Erica did. We just kind of laid in bed and watched them. It's like a nice little nostalgia trip. What comes to mind is the pizza... I think it's the Pizza Hut ones with the pizza dude with the eyes. And it makes me think of Stick from Nickelodeon. With the transitional parts,
sure.
But like everything, you just put googly eyes on everything, and it was a new mascot for something. But they had the pizza guy that was a mascot. It was just like the pizza that talked, and they had like Halloween episode the Dunkin' Donuts commercials,
word.
And then of course the McDonald's ones, and even the bumpers for Nickelodeon like Halloween specials. They had like actual nights devoted to showing the Halloween specials for each episodes, whether it was Rugrats or Rocko's Modern Life or whatever. Like, those are great. You can get your eyes on those on YouTube. That would be great. And one last thing, if you want to sit and have a good scare and be freaked out, watch a gameplay playthrough of PT.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Sure. If you want to be freaked out, Captain, now!
Thank God he had a shield. Well, yeah,
watching gameplay footage of that I did not. I think I downloaded it. I probably have the one of the rare PS4s that still has it on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think I downloaded it but never played it, and I might. I would have to look, but I never had never had enough balls to play it. I was like, you know what? I just sat down with my girlfriend and was like, you know what we were going to do? We're going to watch something freaky. We're going to watch PT. We're going to watch it's a playable teaser. It is, it's collaboration between Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro, making a freaky little Silent Hill game that's all first person, and it's freaky, and it's about this long, about 20 minutes long. It's fucking freaky.
That shit was creepy. I watched it too.
Like, and it all leads up to just one big scare, and it's insane. But apparently there's more to it. There's a lot more puzzle elements to it that you don't realize. So you have to play it a certain way to get certain endings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot more to it. A podcast that I co-hosted and that I listen to frequently, Metal Gear Mondays. They've been doing different themed episodes now, and most recent one they talk about PT, and they were playing through it as they were recording and saying they're trying to get a certain ending, and I think it's just like mainly the ending is just to not die, because when you see the girl you die, but yeah, it's interesting because just the little element that Kojima threw in there and stuff. But as far as listing Halloween yearly stuff, probably definitely more, but that's kind of the short version of it.
Sure.
So us rambling on about TV, movies, commercials, blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, I think it's good to have stuff like this. I'm glad that we did it.
Yeah.
And I'm actually gonna start. I might watch a couple of those films you were just telling me about.
Yeah.
Real quick for wrestling, to wrap this sumbitch up real quick, I wanted to list some of the really cool wrestling gear homages to, like, heroes and characters, you know, because it's like cosplay, right?
Yeah, it's just cosplay and wrestling.
Yep, right.
I've always called wrestling like my way of cosplaying, pretty much, because I make my own shit and I go out there and I'm able to wear it because I don't go to cons. I don't have the money or the patience to go to cons now, anyway. But like, but yeah, it's cool when you see some of your favorite wrestlers wear, like, it's not even just Halloween themed wrestling gear, but just different, you know, of their favorite. You get a glimpse of their personality or their likes and interests when you see them dress up as like certain heroes or have certain themes in their outfits and stuff. See it a lot with Alexa Bliss. She's for one.
Yep.
She you know, has a Freddy Krueger theme one that, you know, even went on to like her tag team that she was managing down at NXT. And I think she had a Child's Play one, which I never even saw. I don't think that was probably during my stint of staying away from wrestling that I missed. And but she had like the overalls and her hair a certain way, and had I think it was it said "Good Gal" on it or whatever. So that was pretty cool. I know she's had a couple. She had Iron Man themed gear too, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. You know, the Iron Man theme was sweet, but Freddy was the shit to me.
Yeah.
For her.
Oh yeah. And because she even had the little glove with
and she did the glove gimmick too.
Yeah.
CM Punk,
he definitely had actual Halloween themed gear.
He did.
He had the, you know, the black. It was like black, orange, white, and had some spider webs on his kick pad covers.
That was sweet.
And yeah, that was really cool that he had that. It's always cool.
Also, his G.I. Joe.
Yes, G.I. Joe.
I was a mark for that gear.
Yeah, when he faced, I think, Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania.
It was
when he was at
dope.
the Straight Edge Society.
Speaking of Rey.
Oh God.
So
the whole podcast on Rey.
Rey's Phantom was dope.
Yep.
Rey's Spider-Man I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Rey's Daredevil was the shit, and Rey's Silver Surfer was ridiculous.
I remember
so stupid.
The Silver Surfer is nuts. Didn't he paint his whole upper body?
Yeah, he painted his arms and mouth and shit too.
So weird.
So weird.
I remember seeing the Daredevil, and that was like, of course, around when the first movie came out with Ben Affleck, and I remember seeing that and just going nuts for it.
Yeah, of course.
Because I believe he opened the show and he wrestled, I think, Chavo in the opener, or it was either Chavo or Jamie Noble. I think it was Jamie Noble.
Maybe.
Yeah, cause I think he was with Nydia at the time. But yeah, but yeah, he came out and then I was like, I want that so bad, because I was such a huge fan of Rey. I even attempted to hand sew a Rey Mysterio mask myself, and I always just wanted a mask. I eventually bought one of the replica masks when I went to one of the events out here, and it just fit my head weird because my head is huge for that fucking mask. But yeah, who else?
Well, let's talk about the GOAT, Glacier. I know, so if you guys are paying attention and you do watch Halloween Havoc, I don't know what year, but you're going to see Glacier. Glacier I only mentioned because this was during the era of WCW where they made characters like Mortis and I forgot the other guy, Wrath. Mortis, Wrath, and Glacier, and all their gear looked like they were from Mortal Kombat 3.
Yeah.
So, Glacier. Guess who he looked like? Anyway, just thought he needed to be brought up.
Yeah.
Also, he's running a seminar here, I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd say the GOAT of all of this shit right now is probably Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. Every takeover, he has something new, something interesting, and something that definitely speaks to us as nerds, because we know that he is literally us.
Yeah, he had the Infinity War Captain America outfit in his street fight. He had Thor Ragnarok, Thor themed like jacket that was really, really good. He also had like the symbiote taking over the Spider-Man,
which was something that I
He was contemplating. You were contemplating doing it before.
Well, it was someone else contacted me who works in the same company.
What it was. Yeah,
someone else contacted me about doing that same idea, but then he wanted to go towards a different idea. He just kept flip flopping his ideas. It was very interesting. But that's just me being nice. But
I know.
But yeah, his gear was freaking great. I remember seeing it because I watched Takeover Live, and you were probably working, and I sent you a picture. It's like, dude. It's like his fucking gear.
So he is an asshole. Main event gear. You guys do great jobs.
Yeah. I just can't follow them anymore because it's just
shameful.
It just puts me to shame.
And probably my favorite, most recent version of the cosplay costumes is probably Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
When he did Thanos, and he did
the top. And everything was spot on.
It was awesome. And he had the stones in the...
They were at the
foot.
They were at the foot. They were at the toes.
They were at the toes.
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of weird. I think it should have been the knee, personally.
Yeah.
Because that's his finish. Mm-hmm. But, yeah.
But have rhinestones on a knee and let that be...
Well, no, I just would have done, pleather.
Yeah.
I just would have, printed.
But they put actual stone, and which was the dude, the actual seamster or the tailor that works for them actually did that. I think he outsourced the tights from someone else, but the person who did the kick pads was actually in house. Sure. The guy that dates
Sasha.
Dates Sasha.
Yeah.
He did those. I remember seeing those on his Instagram. And I didn't realize the stones were even there until I saw his Instagram.
Until we saw Instagram. Yeah. It was dope though.
Yeah.
So he gets the award.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
For sure. Those are pretty fucking sweet.
But yeah. That concludes my
there's plenty, definitely, more out there we probably can't think of right now, but I think that really concludes all of that as far as wrestling wrap up goes. We're talking about wrestling gear, talking tights.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
All right.
That pretty much floors it for me.
So thank you everyone for joining us. Every 2 weeks I aim to try and get one of these out there. So stay on task with that. Appreciate you listening. Join us next time as we talk more toys, more other nonsense that we talk about.
More shit, more costumes.
Always talking shit. Always talking love.
Always hating.
Always hating on the love.
Hating on the love. Hater of children. Craven Knight. Craven Knight, hater of children.
I'm putting that on a shirt for show.
In a world this summer.
There's an alternate universe where there's a Craven Knight that hates children less.
Lol. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. Because Craven Knight's coming to town. Oh, finally, watch the Silent Hill movie. The first one, not the second one. The first one's really good. Fuck what you heard.
I think I remember that being good, yeah.
It's pretty sweet. But yeah, peace, love, and chicken fucking grease.
You stole the words out of my mouth. Stay creative. We out.
Deuces.